Well, hello, friends, and welcome to another WSIB Truth Matters, where I separate the truth from bullshit, facts from fiction, in plain English. Let's get at it. And we're back. Well, hi, friends. For those of you who've been watching the channel for the last year and a half or so, you know what I feel about the WSIB. You know how I feel about them. I don't make that, I don't hide that at all. And just whenever I think that my disgust for this organization can't be any greater, it can. You know, I've been thinking about this for a while, probably about the past month and a half or so, as I've been putting the final touches in the process that we're about to launch with WSIB settlements. You know, the system is broken. It's, let's face it, it's broken. It's not working. You know, if you find yourself needing support from the system, whether you're injured recently or contracted a workplace illness, or whether you've been dealing with them or fighting them for the last so many years, you've probably come to the realization. And it's not serving the people that it was supposed to serve. And now, if they couldn't go any lower on the to the level of the, you know, where the swine, I don't know if you've ever seen this, you know, pigs in a corral, where they flip around and they love being in that pile of their own feces. I think you know where I'm going with this one. So $2.3 billion being given back to employers. What the fuck for? Like, really? I don't know. I don't know how they're just handing out cash and making these political announcements as if it's a good thing. You know, just sticking their fingers in the eyes of the citizens of this province, the workers, the backbone of this province, giving back $2.3 billion to employers who are, by far, the reason why there are injured workers. Because without employers, there wouldn't be injured workers. And Sir William Meredith, back over 100 years ago, when he set up this system, there was nothing in the principles that he established for money to go back to employers or for employers to get rebates. There was nowhere in there, right? The system was set up so that there would be a fund that was built by employers, where employers had to make obligatory financial contributions based on their dollars of payroll, based on the risk of industry they were in, so that if a person was injured or contracted a workplace illness in their company and required time off or died as a result of their injuries, they would be compensated. And what would the employer get in return? Well, they would get to stay in business. They wouldn't be subjected to being sued, which potentially could put them out of business. That's what's referred to as the historical trade-off. I think it's pretty good for employers. They got it well. You know, let's spread the risk so that each one of us pays a little bit, so that if there's an injury in my business, I don't risk going out of business. But fuck, these idiots over the past 30 plus years have managed to completely do what the swine do in their feces. I can't put it in a more disgusting manner, because that's what it is, right? There shouldn't be any money going back to employers, while injured workers are by the thousands, desperate just to be able to pay their bills, put food on the table, get treatment, and go to work, to become and to remain productive members of this society, to not have to depend on family and friends in handouts, which is embarrassing and humiliating. Nobody should be put in that position. Nobody should be forced into that situation. But this week alone, I spoke with two individuals from two completely ends of this province, where they're homeless. They have become homeless because of what happened to them through and by the WSIB. Homeless. Think of this for a moment. Imagine you having to leave your home and your possessions, not knowing what to do with them, with your kids, with no money to put food on the table because you couldn't pay your rent or your mortgage. Imagine that. And it's cold outside, right? Imagine being in that predicament. This angers me to the highest level, that people are put in this position. I was talking to one lady who needs a walker. She can't stand for any more than a couple of minutes. A PSW, looking after older people or people with disabilities who can't look after themselves, who need physical help. And the WSIB is pushing her to go to work. Ignoring her doctor's recommendations. You've all heard this, right? You hear these stories all the time, and you're probably in that position yourself. I was talking to another person with severe PTSD who's now become an alcoholic and doing drugs because he was denied his claim and he was denied treatment. Where the fuck in a modern Western democratic country in the 21st century, with all the resources that we have, how the fuck did we end up to this position? How did we get here? We got here because of the politicians who appoint people who don't give a fuck and don't know what the fuck they're doing, and whose loyalties are very mixed between themselves and helping others. A crisis of identity. So my friends, for the last year, I've been slowly, very meticulously putting the steps, the required steps in place to a program that I'm very, very excited about announcing, because it's going to take the fight to them. And they know that. They see it coming. I've been giving them plenty of warnings. It's called the WSIB 2025 Worker Affirmative Action Strategy. And what is it? Well, we're going to start pushing back. So we have a process that we've implemented with WSIB Settlements, my company. A very deliberate strategy that we will employ for every individual who meets this particular criteria. And we've laid out a criteria. It's based on doing a in-depth review of the worker's case, the file, taking into consideration all of the decisions, everything that's happened to this point in their case. We look at how decisions were made, whether they were done correctly, whether they follow the law, relevant policy. We look at how the decision maker, eligibility adjudicator, case manager, return to work specialist, or a manager, the appropriateness of the communication with the worker, whether they acted in a manner that was respectful, whether they were professional, whether they were bullying or threatening. We will look for all of those factors when we do this review. Whether the decision maker considered and didn't ignore the worker's doctors and the recommendations made. And that those cases will be eligible for this affirmative action strategy. And what does it consist of? Well, basically, we're going to bypass all of the bullshit. So you have two ways to address issues with the WSIB. And I've talked about these before at length. You have the appeal system, which I'm not advocating isn't proper or appropriate. I do believe that there is a place for the appeal system, providing you know and understand the decision that was made, if the decision was made properly, if the decision contained all of the various points that are required in the decision. And I've done a video about this before. All of the elements that the decision maker must state in a decision in order for that decision to be considered legal. Because you need to understand what the decision is before you can appeal it. Not just be expected to blindly appeal something that you don't understand. So I do believe that there is a place for the appeal system, and I believe that the best place for the appeal system is at the Workplace Safety and Insurance Appeals Tribunal, because I have zero faith whatsoever in the WSIB's Appeal Services Division, AROs. I have zero faith in them whatsoever. Okay, this is based on my experiences in dealing with these people for over 30 years. I don't make these statements lightly or just pluck them out of thin air like these people seem to do with most of the shit that they cause. I also believe that there is an alternative route, which is to use the process within the operating level to ensure that individuals within the hierarchy within that level are ensuring that those decisions are being made properly and that you are given the proper respect in being able to understand the decision and what, if anything, is needed to help you address it, which they don't do. So I believe there's a place for that as well. Now we're going a step higher with our worker affirmative action strategy. Now we're going to take it higher. And this is going to go to the highest levels of government within the WSIB and outside of the WSIB. Because a lot of people within the WSIB, right from the frontline decision maker all the way up to the president, Jefferey Lang, okay, who have to this point, based on everything that I've seen and witnessed with my eyes, read from members across this province, that there is a very poor, if negligible, lack of regard for transparency and accountability. But you know what? And as I've said in earlier videos, everybody's accountable to somebody. Everybody has to answer to somebody, right? Yeah. We're all accountable. Some of us think that our shit doesn't stink, that we can do whatever the fuck we want, and that it's okay. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. If you're one of the members of my company and you get your shit backwards and you shit the bed and you don't think anybody's going to call you on it, well, I'll tell you, we will. I know that for you listening and watching this video, that it's a huge undertaking. It's intimidating for you to stand up to them and to go as far as necessary within the external and internal and external levels. But it's not for us. We'll be the driving force. We will be the ones supporting you. With my team, which includes experienced people in the law, extensive experience with over 35 years, and lawyers and paralegals who know what the fuck they're doing. So we have a broad team. We have all of the resources we need to make sure that this strategy doesn't fail. Because I'm not all about playing games. I don't have time for that. And you know that my tolerance for bullshit is 0. You know that. If you've been watching me now for a while, you know it is. And you also know I don't get intimidated by nobody or nothing. And that's why they hate me. Because they can't fucking control me. That's never going to happen. And they can have, and this is for you, my friends, now, listening and watching. You can have as many of your corporate security branch people who always decide that they want to remain anonymous and can't sign their name to a letter. You can have them write as many letters as you want to threaten and intimidate our members. But I can tell you this, it's not going to work and it's not going to stop what's coming. Okay? Just so that you know that. I'm paying attention. Right? Your time for case managers in all of the offices and managers and directors spread out all over this fucking province. If you think that you can continue to do the shit that you've been doing up until now and that nobody's watching and that nobody's going to call you on it, you better think again. This is the kind of stuff that excites me because I was 17 when I had this injury. 18, actually. I had just turned 18. And for those of you who don't know my story, I came from Portugal, Azores, Pico. Beautiful place. If you've never been, you got to go there. I came here to, for opportunities, to get an education, to go to college, university, and do well. I was a musician. I loved playing music. It's always been my passion. And I could have stayed back home and worked for the family business and I would have done very well. But anyway, and 6 months after being here, I had this injury. 6 months. I was 18 years old. I didn't know fuck all about the loss. I was a punk. And they took advantage of me. My employer did, and so did the WSIB. And I had to fight for everything, every dime I ever got for them, I had to fight for it. But I got smart. And I started in 1989, my first office. I built the largest paralegal firm in Ontario with over 10,000 clients, over 20 staff. And they tried many times over the years to take me out. They played the dirty bullshit games. They tried hard because they were threatened by me. We'd settled hundreds of millions of dollars in settlements. They couldn't deal with that. And they were able to take me out temporarily. Temporarily, motherfuckers. But I regrouped, as I always do. And very methodically over the past couple of years. I'm back. So there's two things that drive me in this world. Two of them. One is to be the best for my family. To support my wife, my children, my granddaughter, my brother. And I don't restrict family to blood, relatives, friends too. I do everything and anything for my family. And the other thing is to help injured workers in this province and get what they're entitled to, and to not be treated like a piece of shit by an organization and a bunch of people who wouldn't have a job to live their own lives, to build their own dreams, to support their own children. They wouldn't be there if not for this organization that was established and set up with the exclusive purpose to help injured workers when they need it. And you've all lost your way, and we're going to bring you back to it, one way or another. Two things that I'm passionate about. And it drives everything that I do every single day when I get up in the morning and I still have a pulse. That's what I want to do. All right, friends? So, if you're new to the channel, welcome. As I'm sure you can tell by now, I am very serious about what I do, and I'm very passionate. I've got 164 videos, I believe, that I've done over the last almost a year and a half. And there's a ton more content that I talk about everything and anything to do with WSIB, from pre-1990 claims all the way to present, and all of the different legislations that have been in effect in the last 50 years. I've handled thousands of files over the years, and I do know what I'm talking about, and this is why I'm a threat to them. But welcome. I hope you stick around. If you have issues with your claim, visit our company, WSIBsettlements.com. We can help you. If anybody around this province can do that, we can help you. To my subscribers, I appreciate all your support, the fact that you've shared my videos, the fact that you continue to encourage and support me through this whole process. I set up this channel to be able to reach as many injured workers as I can, and in this province, and to create a solid, broad-based network of professionals, lawyers, paralegals, to help our members. And we are well on our way to doing that, to succeeding. And everything we do is to help you, regardless of where you're at with your claim, whether your file has been closed and you were under the impression that there was nothing more you could do, whether your claim was 40 years old and you think there's nothing you can do there. And I'm dealing with claims right now that are that old. Believe me, there's only a handful of people at the WSIB who understand those laws. I do. I know those laws intimately, inside, backwards, in my sleep. I'm approaching 500 subscribers, which is pretty exciting. When I started on day one with my first video and I got my first subscriber, I thought, holy crap, this actually works. And I don't charge anything for my videos and the information you get on my channel. I don't charge anything for any of that. If you need help, you can contact my company, WSIB Settlements. We have the expertise to help you. And then we have fees. We describe our fees. But anyway, it is accessible to pretty much everybody. So yes, if you can keep sharing my videos, hopefully I can hit that 500 subscriber mark and then build to 1,000. All right, my friends. Once again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really do appreciate it. And there's lots more coming. Please don't forget about this initiative. This is going to be life-changing for a lot of injured workers who have been screwed in the past and treated like shit, or the ones that are being treated that way now, and to hopefully prevent those in the future from having to go through some of the challenges that we've all experienced. All right, my friends, as always, and until next time, take care.